The next thing I want to talk about is KVCC's Caption service. So we now offer and have for about a year now. I think we implemented this mid-pandemic because we recognized there would be a need for it. And so we now have human captions provided by the company Rev. And they're crowdsourced. So you submit a video to us, and then the video will go to one of Rev's like gig workers, and then they will caption it by hand according to certain standards of accuracy and style. It's kind of like APA versus MLA. There's style guides for how you should caption something so that it can be understood by people who have hearing disabilities or who don't have their volume turned on. And these are things that we might not necessarily think of in terms of being necessary for understanding. So you can request human captions from MyValley. First thing you're going to need is you're going to need the link or the URL for your video. So you can't upload your video directly to us. You probably can't email it to us. Most videos are too large for, I think there's like a 15 megabyte limit on our email or something like that. So wherever your video is going to live for your students, that is a good place to get the URL. So if you would share it with your students through Google Drive, if you would share it through Panopto, if you would share it through Canvas, just find where your video lives on the web and copy that link, and then you'll need to send that to us. That also helps us give you the instructions that you will need to upload your caption file. And then please try to submit 2 weeks ahead of time. Please try to plan ahead. Obviously, if you have an emergency, if you have a student in your class with an official accommodations letter saying that they need captions and you need to post something and it needs to be captioned ASAP, obviously we will try to accommodate that because it's important. However, even emergencies are still going to take time. It's going to take at least a day, sometimes two, depending on the length of the video, in order to get those captions back from the captioning service. As a hint, several shorter videos will get captioned faster than one long video of the same total length. So if I submit five 5-minute videos, I will get those back much faster than one 25-minute video. And that's because, like I said, Rev is sort of crowdsourced. It goes to individual workers, and so 5 videos can be sent to 5 different people, whereas one long video has to be done by one person. So you will get, when you click on captioning requests, you will get a Google form to fill out. Please fill that out. If you have like 5 short videos, you can, for the same class or for the same couple of classes, you can just fill it out once and just, copy the links to all 5 videos in there. That's totally fine. But if you have one video that is for a student with an accommodation, and then you have a different video for a different class that doesn't have an accommodation, then maybe do 2 different forms for that. I don't know. You can use your judgment. It's totally fine. I don't want you to have 100 videos and feel like you have to submit that same form 100 times. So, do what makes sense. And if you have any questions, let us know. And this goes to our instructional designer, Dave Zokvik. He is our accessibility guru, and he will send you back a caption file and instructions for uploading it depending on where your video lives. So he can send you instructions for uploading it to Panopto, for example, if your video is in Panopto. That's why it's helpful to send us a link to your video where your students are going to see it, because then he can send you the correct instructions. Some pros and cons of requesting human captions. What goes into this decision versus just editing the captions yourself? Well, human captions are more accurate. In a lot of cases, they're much more accurate. It's the least amount of work for you. You don't have to do any editing. You don't have to spend time on it if you request human captions. And obviously, it's very important if you have a student with an official accommodation letter saying that they need captions to participate in the class at all. However, they're expensive, to be honest. The videos may have to be prioritized. That's why we ask that you give us, several weeks in advance. We may have to caption some, but not others. If we have a lot of students with accommodations versus videos that aren't for students with accommodations, depending on our budget. There might be a delay. Like I said, please try to submit those 2 weeks ahead. Whereas if you have just a quick 3-minute video that you can edit the captions for yourself, then you might be able to do that within 10 minutes or so, depending. We don't recommend it for long videos, for videos that, especially if they need to be re-recorded or updated frequently. So this is not a service for, let's say that you have 2 Zoom class sessions a week and you always record them and then you post the recording on Zoom, and then next semester you're going to, start all over again with new class sessions. This is not the service for that. This is intended to be for videos that you create, lectures that are going to be useful to you next semester, the following semester. That's why when you submit your caption form, you have to answer whether or not this is a video that you plan to reuse. If you're in a field like me, which is technology, which changes very quickly, this is where it can be helpful to record your videos in shorter chunks so that if you have to re-record just part of a video because something needs an update, we can recaption just that one 5-minute segment or whatever, instead of having to pay $1.50 a minute or whatever it is for an hour-long video that needs to be re-recorded. Just some thoughts. Unfortunately, we have to make do with our limited resources.